the dawn of a new dynasty. The Tudor dynasty ended, and the Stuart dynasty began with a child born into a world of political danger and ambition. In 1566, James Stuart was born at Edinburgh Castle, to Mary, Queen of Scots, and Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley. His mother was a figure of beauty and tragedy. Her reign was stormy, marked by scandals, murders, and religious strife. James' early years were overshadowed by his mother's forced abdication and imprisonment, leaving him crowned King of Scots as an infant. James' education was rigorous. He was tutored in Latin, theology, and Renaissance humanism, fostering a deep intellectual curiosity and love for literature. Despite the political chaos, he grew to be a confident, thoughtful ruler. In 1603, fate smiled on James as Queen Elizabeth I died without an heir. James, already King of Scotland, was crowned James I of England, uniting the two thrones, a historic moment that shaped Britain forever. James married Anne of Denmark, a graceful and strong-willed queen who bore him several children, including the future Charles I. Their marriage was a mixture of affection and conflict, marked by religious differences and court intrigues. Anne's deep religious convictions contrasted with James's more political pragmatism, often stirring tension in the royal household. James's reign saw many achievements: the commissioning of the King James Bible in 1611, which became a literary and religious masterpiece, his efforts to pacify feuding nobles, and the patronage of arts and architecture. Yet, his belief in the divine right of kings planted seeds of future conflict. The idea that monarchs answered only to God, not Parliament, clashed deeply with the English political tradition. James died in 1625, passing his complex legacy to his son Charles. Charles I, the king whose head changed history. Born in 1600 at Dunfermline Palace, Charles was the second son, but became heir apparent after the death of his elder brother. Raised with a strict religious education and under the shadow of his father's formidable intellect, Charles grew up determined to rule with absolute authority. In 1625, Charles married Henrietta Maria of France, a Catholic princess. This marriage sparked unrest among his predominantly Protestant subjects, especially since Henrietta Maria was openly Catholic and influential in court. Charles' personal life was fraught with tragedy and tension. He and Henrietta Maria had 9 children, but only a few survived infancy, adding sorrow to his reign. The king's struggle with Parliament over money, religion, and power grew bitter. Charles's stubbornness and his attempts to impose religious uniformity ignited civil unrest. His secretive and often arrogant manner alienated nobles and commoners alike. The famous English Civil War, 1642 to 1651, broke out. Royalists, supporters of the king, versus parliamentarians, led by Oliver Cromwell. Charles fought bravely, but was ultimately defeated. The most dramatic moment came in 1649, when Charles was put on trial and executed publicly, the first English monarch to suffer such a fate. His dignified and composed demeanor during the trial turned him into a martyr for royalists and forever altered the monarchy's role in England. The family drama and court intrigues of Charles I. Charles's household was rife with drama. Queen Henrietta Maria's Catholicism was a constant source of tension. Their daughter, Henrietta Anne, was rumored to be a political pawn in international intrigues, and the king's favoritism towards certain courtiers bred jealousy and resentment. One notable figure was Queen Henrietta Maria's French confidant, the Countess of Carlisle, whose intrigues and alliances caused ripples of distrust at court. The personal rivalries between advisors, combined with Charles's secretive nature, deepened the kingdom's divisions. Following Charles' death, England became a republic, ruled by Oliver Cromwell and later his son Richard. The monarchy was abolished, and the country plunged into strict Puritan rule. The Stuarts lived in exile, but never gave up hope of return. Charles II, born in 1630, lived a childhood overshadowed by his father's downfall. His education was informal but broad, absorbing courtly manners in exile across France and the Netherlands. In 1660, after Cromwell's death and growing discontent with Republican rule, Charles was invited back. The restoration of the monarchy brought joy to many. Charles married Catherine of Braganza, a Portuguese princess, to cement alliances. Though their marriage was childless, Charles fathered numerous illegitimate children, fueling gossip and scandal. His reign was marked by a glittering court, full of wit, music, and scientific advancement, the founding of the Royal Society. But it was also a time of great danger. The Great Plague of 1665 devastated London, followed by the Great Fire of 1666 that nearly destroyed the city. Charles' personal life was a whirlwind of affairs, court factions, and religious tension. His tolerance of Catholics and secret sympathies caused suspicion in a country wary of popery. Charles died suddenly in 1685, leaving the throne to his brother James. Part 2 will be released tomorrow. While you wait, subscribe.